Be the Formula episode. We do that because we never keep up with these. Right, so some news. In a previous video we mentioned how there's now a food sponsor trained by Fox called Potter's Prep. They're local and now become a sponsored, we're not going to use the word athlete because I'm not an athlete, let's say sponsored coach under Stups.uk. We're going to do a quick run through of some supplements I use and we're going to make these bite-sized videos. First off, we have Hydramax, one of my favourite general drinks to drink throughout the day, apart from Monster, do not at me. Now, Berrylicious, beautiful. Strom have nailed the flavour formula on these. They've got in here coconut water, dandelion extract, and there's also vitamin C, and that is to optimise fluid levels. You've then got taurine, which helps keep water fluid within the muscle cell. So taurine will help keep fluid within the muscle cell and also aid endurance and performance within training. It also, if you're taking fat loss agents such as Clen, will help reduce cramps. I definitely recommend this to anyone. Again, hydration is key and this will help that. A lot of people that are kind of generally in that off-season phase where they're heavy, sluggish, they get back pumps. This helps with that again through the multitude of different ingredients, but mainly taurine. Use the code TBF at checkout, save you some money, Stups.uk. Support Max Joint. Now, for me, I use this for a combination of as an anti-inflammatory and also joint aid. First, we've got glucosamine sulfate in. Now, this is going to increase cartilage and fluid around the joint, which is basically going to stop that bone on bone thing we won't want. And long term, if we can prevent that, we're going to prevent joints being unhealthy. Then we've got Hydramax, I can't pronounce that, which is basically water soluble curcumin, which makes it that they can put more within it, with it being a mix. I think that's right, don't at me. Which curcumin, again, is just an anti-inflammatory that's going to reduce inflammation caused by training. Digest Max, a lot of people will call this Poo Max, generally will keep you regular, and that is something we need to look after. Now, with this, if you read it on any site, part of the description states for larger athletes. Now, anyone can use this. Now, I'm in a diet phase at the moment and I still use it just to keep me regular. Contains probiotics. I'm not going to go into the importance of them, but if you want to know more, message myself or Stups. And then we've got digest enzymes and also a blend of different fibre products. I would highly recommend this for anyone that not necessarily doesn't hit their greens, because it will not replace a greens product, but for overall digestion and probiotics, I would give this a go. Yeah. So, update on where Michael is at. So, just got back from Ibiza on, what day was it, this Tuesday just gone, and immediately went into a rapid fat loss phase. Mike Geary and I have been working together now for approximately 2 months. And it was never meant to be a coaching relationship, it was just me basically consulting around him and letting him kind of take a part to educate me on various topics, which is very useful. I'd recommend that to anyone, that a lot of coaches do it. Now, within that first kind of consultation consult call, I just decided, you know what, I'm going to kind of take some accountability again, and I chose to, because again, you learn from other coaches. Now, for me, I can't put somebody relatively through a phase I haven't gone through. I've prepped for shows, I've prepped for photo shoots, I've generally improved my health, I've damaged my health in bodybuilding, so on and so on. So I can't do that. I need to know the outs and ins. So I asked Mike if we could go into a rapid fat loss phase. We're going to be doing this whilst on kind of TRT physiological range of PEDs for anyone that's watching this. So that's low, which is a risk, because again, through being through these extremities of this phase, food is going to be low, output's going to be high, and so on. So we're only into it initially. In the first day, I lost 8 pounds, which could just be fluid retention. It could be, again, the fact that I've just been on holiday, drank my body weight in alcohol, ate whenever I wanted to. So I probably genuinely just, again, it could have been from the flight. Now, food wise is meal 1. I won't tell the amount because it's irrelevant to the individual. Meal 1 is salmon, egg whites and eggs. Meal 2 is prawns and cheese. Pre-workout happens to be whey, porridge oats, dark chocolate and almond butter, but I'm just following macros for that particular meal because I can't stand oats anymore. Post-workout, this is where it gets rough. That is basically chicken and almond butter. Pre-bed is probably the one meal at the minute I look forward to the most. 400 gram of Greek yogurt. I will say the amount there because it's a big deal. 25 gram of whey and some dark chocolate. And rest days are practically the same, but 0 carbs. Carbs come from trace product. Output is 15k steps. Fat loss agents are in there. Won't touch on that. If you're interested, drop me a message. I'm going to cook the next meal shortly, and then Lewis Jones, my client, he's coming over from Coventry. He's making the trip up here for like an in-person check-in. We're going to sit down, review the next 12 months, go over what's been kind of has gone well since we started working together at the beginning of the year, and what's not gone so well, so we can continually progress in that manner. This is very valuable for me. Likewise, a lot of the time when I do these, they're just on a Zoom call, or I'll meet anyone that's local for a coffee and so on. So for Lewis to be travelling up here is a big deal for me. And then we're going to head over to the gym, and Lewis Yield, a client of mine, coached him for about a year now. He's obviously still in prep, and we chose to train together through that, and we're actually going to continue in his off season at the end of this. And then my other client Andy, he trains at the same gym as us. He's going to jump in on our session together, which is going to be upper, which brings me to training. We are currently training 6 days a week, which for anyone that knows me is for the past 2 months I've probably struggled to train 2 to 3 times a week. So this is something that I've had to sort my shit out from a time management point. But again, having nootropics and focus supplements, stups.uk, helps massively. That's probably the one supplement I have to take first thing in the morning because it reminds me to take the rest of them. But anyway, coming back to training, the split is Monday we'll do push and arms. Tuesday is kind of density, so back and hamstrings really, with some quads in there as well. Wednesday is arms. Thursday is hamstrings and delts. Today is upper, and tomorrow will be quads and arms. So if you can see through that, there's 3 direct arm days a week. There's 2 occasions we'll be training chest. There's 2 occasions we're training delts. 2 occasions we hit quads, 2 occasions we hit hamstrings, and then back gets hit twice. So if you look at the volume, a lot of it's going towards delts, hamstrings and arms, and the rest is kind of at maintenance. The volume's a lot higher, so this is basically where me and Mike are going to communicate a lot of what's worked, because again, it isn't very popular within this industry now that people train for 6 days. It's not something I've done for a very long time. It's not necessarily something that I want to keep in after this 4 weeks, but it's going to be interesting to assess, because if it can keep me on training day food and I have more food available, I'm for it. I'm all for it, and it gives me the opportunity to see how I've progressed within this 6 day split. Steps are at 15k. Cardio isn't existent at the minute, but I imagine it's going to come soon. That's an update from that. Yeah, let's cook. All the veggies. it's about volume. Something I want to touch on while I'm eating. Sorry if I talk with my mouth full. Probably going to happen. Somebody asked, and he's just done a bodybuilding show, and he was asking about coaching and stuff. And like, realistically, what I want to say is, right, realistically, your physique isn't going to sell coaching. To some degree, your results aren't going to sell coaching. Your personality and the value that you give is what's going to sell. Like, your ability to be online. See the name online, you need to be there. You don't need just a status or a fucking post that says available 24/7, because we sleep 6 to 8 hours and we ask our clients to sleep 6 to 8 hours, so you're not going to be available those, but the rest of the time you need to be available. Yes, put your business hours down, but be available, give value. If you can if you hire a videographer and have an exercise library, make sure that that's only available to your client. If you're creating specific content to try and generate leads, make sure it doesn't come across like a fucking sales script, because you're not going to get people. They're going to see it a mile off. If you've ever walked into a shop and someone comes up to you and says, "Oh, what are you looking for, sir or madam?" You don't buy, do you? Unless you're actually there to buy, you don't buy. Now, so they then went on to asking, like, what do I put down being my biggest success? And I generally think that where I kind of broke the gap for me was realizing that I was letting too many people affect me posting who don't pay my bills, and I was letting people live rent free in my head, and it was stopping me from me doing what I wanted to do, what I wanted to post, what I wanted to wear. Yes, this is a raincoat, and where I saw myself. And then it come down to, suddenly, the minute I broke that and I made a few mess ups and I said fuck or bugger, people started buying into what I feel like my personality, even as boring as it is. And I think that's what you've got to do. You've got to be open to be criticised. You need to remain somewhat professional. Like, business needs to be professional. If somebody is having financial difficulty and they're telling you, yes, I'll contact in a few weeks, don't give them a hard time about it, because they won't come back. Like, you've got to look at this as, this person is potentially investing in your service, and your service is one of the biggest luxuries. Whether that is mentoring, coaching, some sort of service that where you're holding them accountable and giving them advice, it's a luxury. It's not a product like this I bought for £1, right? And it's a solid product. I can hold it, I can taste it. Coaching or any mentoring is not. It's probably a lot more valuable, but if you're making somebody feel bad for not wanting to invest, then you're we'll beat that part out. Now I'm going on a tandem, which I do all the time, and again, this is where me going on a tandem usually does well. But if you are somebody that is getting into coaching, don't necessarily think about going to either the nearest fucking business mentor or coach, because what they're going to do is genuinely create all your systems and processes, i.e. they're going to tell you to get a type form or a Google form. They're going to tell you to do some call to action, CTAs, to get people in the DMs. They're going to tell you to create a PDF and make it a free downloadable thing so you can gather email address. And all these ways are very successful, and I'm not saying don't do them, but I'm saying, but what they're not doing is teaching you how to coach. Learn the basics first. Like, coach friends for free, but create an incentive, create a challenge. Like, do a 30-60 day challenge and put your hand in your pocket and give something away. Have your clients come and train with you. Like, travel and train with your clients or people and kind of show the person you are. I'm going to shut the fuck up. I'm going on a tandem. But yeah, my advice is always give value and be yourself. You can still be professional and you can still be yourself, but the professionalism is, don't go and share your pictures of your client with somebody else. That's inappropriate. what I mean by be professional is there is got to be some onboarding way. There's got to be you communicating. There's got to be, right, what's my policy around people leaving? There's got to be like looking after your client as they leave, and so on and so on. It can't just be professional as in like, I will not say fuck up bugger. I will not say A up me dope, and so on and so on. Like, it's boring. One guy that I literally have more and more respect for the more I watch him is a guy called Christian Chapman from the Physique Collective. Big up boy. He literally owns it when it comes to not giving a fuck, and he does well. He's very successful. He's got thousands of results, and it's because he nailed coaching before he nailed business, and now he's literally, I wish him all the luck. Anyway, I'm going to get back to eating.
Especially right now, like the last thing I want to do is dip too far into my recovery before we then push into a gaining phase, because that will just
you just need to keep the mechanisms of the movement,
keep back on the movement ticking over, keep strength ticking over, and it's literally just priming now, performance ready for when we go into the gaining phase. Food can come up.
Because for now is like looking at, we said that it was go back to macros, go on here. And this is what Lewis does and we do when it kind of comes to coaching, is like map out the year. And we're doing this together because this is a client-led coaching process. I'm very fortunate to be coaching Lewis, but I think having this option to just quickly go over everything is giving us the confidence in our decision making, and we know what decisions we've got to make at what point. Now, for anyone watching this, you need to kind of look at this and think, right, if you're currently being coached and you haven't got a fucking clue what you're doing in the next 4 months, you need to pick that person's brain and ask them, because you've got a long-term goal. Lewis knows the risks involved, I know the risks involved, and this is why, like, Lewis offers consults for anyone that's kind of needing guidance on that, because it's not necessarily based on you just being coached by us. It's like, right, you need, probably sometimes I'd say you just need a bit of friendly advice and pointing in the right direction,
or even just confirming your ideas in a way.
That's all what we're doing here.
We confirm,
we're just confirming
each other's ideas and meet in the middle.
We're meeting in the middle and fucking telling each other, no, you're being a bell end, you're being too slow. Like, come on, kill me, mate. What?